People like Kyle that stand in the middle don't help. He did that segment how AOC has done nothing, and he certified JD as a leftist, so someone new will get confused. Here, I want to let you know. In fact, I'm going to make this its own segment because I want to talk about this. Relationships in politics. Relationships in media. And I don't mean romantic relationships. I mean any and all forms of social bond with other people in media spaces. Why is there such an incestuous relationship between the Democratic Party and MSNBC, for example, and Fox News and the Republican Party? Why does that relationship exist? Well, the answer to that is incestuous media relationships. They all know each other. They're all friends. They go for drinks. They go to social gatherings. They get invited to each other's weddings. They get invited to each other's birthday parties. They all know each other. That's the problem. And so leftist independent media has the same exact problem. But a lot of people do not understand how that is a problem. They just don't. A lot of people think that independent media, by sake of being independent, you're not funded by a corporation, that automatically makes you better than mainstream news. That is incorrect. That is false. And that lulls a lot of people into a false sense of security where they can do no wrong. I'm independent. That's all I need to know. Now let's look at the case between Kyle Kulinski and Jimmy Dore. Okay? Jimmy Dore is clearly an abusive loser. Anyone who even pretends that that's not the case has lost the plot. I'm not interested in you as a person. Kyle knew that. In his video that he said, if I heard anyone talk about it like that to my sister or my mother, I would punch them in the face. But he stayed out of it. Why did he stay out of it? Because he had a relationship with people on both sides. He had a relationship with the Young Turks and Anna Kasparian, and he had a relationship with Jimmy Dore. And so he abdicated his role as independent media. He failed to be an unbiased source. Now again, independent media and unbiased media are not the same. I will tell you this straight up. I have a lot of things that I choose not to talk about because, I have maybe ulterior motives. Right? I'm letting you know. Right? But again, if you go back and look at my videos when Brianna Joy Gray first hopped on the Force to Vote bandwagon, I would preface every single video with, I don't hate her, I don't know why she's doing this, I like her, but I have to tell you how it is. And that's because I don't have a relationship with her. I've met her, I've spoken to her a couple times, but we're not friends. And so therefore I feel open to go after her. Right? I feel like, okay, I'm allowed to criticize her because I don't have that relationship with her that other people who would also maybe want to criticize her do. And we as an independent media space, I just want to say, I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to go oh, popular YouTuber, be my friend so I can come on your podcast. I'm not interested in that. If I were interested on that, I would be a completely different kind of live streamer. I would be joining the People's Party, bro. Right? And so we need to understand that these people are not unbiased and they're not better than mainstream media. The only difference is they don't get corporate funding and they don't have an allegiance to corporations. That's it. A lot of the other problems still exist, and they exist even worse because there's no ethics committees. There's no resource departments. There's no training. A lot of these people like Kyle Kulinski are not trained to know better. They are not trained in how to be unbiased journalists. So a lot of these people claim to be journalists. Kyle doesn't, but, the gray zone, they claim to be journalists, right? But they don't follow ethics and journalism principles. They don't follow any of that. They are extremely biased, but they hide those biases from you. I will let you know right now. If I am biased, I will let you know what my biases are, and then I will tell you my opinion, right? So I just want to say, a lot of these people that are popular on YouTube, they get paid. Now again, their allegiances might not be to corporations, but their allegiances are to blocks of fundraising. Jimmy Dore has cemented a block of fundraising that Kyle Kulinski tapped into. He was afraid that if he spoke out against those people, that he would lose his fundraising, he would lose his money. That is the same exact thing that is at play when someone on CNN is talking about how Medicare for all, how are you going to pay for it? How are you going to pay for it? They are afraid to criticize the health insurance companies because the health insurance companies pay their bills. Kyle Kalinske was afraid to criticize Force to Vote because Force to Vote paid his bills. And that's something you need to understand. But they won't tell you that because either they're not cognizant of those things, which makes me think, how the fuck do these people have so much... How do they have millions of subscribers if they're this stupid? And then that makes me think, it's because they're this stupid that they have those millions of subscribers. That, that's my... Right? That's my thought process. But again, when you have these incestuous relationships, it breeds problems. People need to, one, be willing to criticize others, and more importantly, people need to be open to criticism. If someone responds to this video and responds and critiques me in good faith, I will listen, right? I can disagree, but I will listen. And that's what we need. We need to foster a group of people that believe in change, that believe in debate, not for internet points, but to get the point across so that people understand where people are coming from. I have been in debates where people have changed my mind. And I let them know, that's a good point. I think you got me. Why? Because I'm not afraid of losing. I'm not afraid of digging my heels in. I don't want to dig my heels in. I strive for what I think is the most logical and the most rational take on everything I can think of. So when it comes to electoral politics, I think working within the Democratic Party is better than starting a new party. Now, that's where it comes to electoral politics. I don't like electoral politics. If you've been following my channel, I've been out protesting for 106 days in a row. That's my preference. I prefer organizing and direct action over electoral politics, right? But when it comes to electoral politics, I still have my preference, and I'm letting you know my preference, right? So, I'm just like people really need to be open to critique. If someone comes out there and explains how the People's Party is the real way to win in electoral politics, okay, I'll listen. But so far, they have yet to do so. And whenever you criticize them and say, hey, this makes no sense, they blow the fuck up at you. Everyone needs to be willing to criticize others, even friends, even family, and also everyone needs to be, even more importantly, capable of accepting criticism. That's the most important bit. Because people's inability to handle criticism is what leads to the situation like Jimmy Dore and Kyle Kalinske, where Kyle looks like he's a battered wife who's afraid to talk about someone who's clearly going on a rampage. And so again, a lot of people just don't know this about independent media. And I don't even consider myself independent. I'm just like some bitch with a podcast. Like, I don't want to inflate. I'm not a journalist. Technically, I guess I am. But it's like, I don't want to inflate myself in that fashion. I'm just some bitch with a podcast. I've been some bitch with a podcast for years now. I will always be some bitch with a podcast. I'm not the assistant director of communications and relations of, Group X and, assistant director manager of managerial direction of... I'm not any of that stupid shit. I'm a bitch with a podcast. And guess what? All those other motherfuckers you watch on YouTube, they're no different. They're bitches with podcasts. And we all need to have some humility, for God's sake.